Well, welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and today we're going to be talking about the 4 new Pokemon that were shown in the most recent Nintendo Direct. Wait, 4? Don't you mean 2? The haunted teapot and the bird thing? No, there's actually 4, and if that surprises you, you might want to leave a like on this video, share it with your friends, and stay hype for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So let's get into it, and if you blink, you might miss it. If you're not paying attention because it's starting, it's already gone. So yeah, at the very beginning, within the first couple frames of the trailer, the hell is that? Now, that looks like a something for sure, but you really can't make out what it represents. And it looks more like a statue because even if you slow it down as slow as YouTube will give you, they aren't moving. So it really seems like a statue. And also you could have seen that like on the right side over here anyways. But so the question is, what does this represent? Why are they there? Also, I guess if you look at it, you know, there's kind of like there's like a little pillar in front of them, so maybe that's kind of like a marking or a plaque that says what this is supposed to represent. Is that Eternatus? Is this a representation of the legendary? Is it like some kind of dual Pokemon and that's why there's 2 statues? Or is there 2 of them because that's how they're represented? Because the weird thing about Zacian and Zamazenta is that they are very similar. They're practically twins, and that's also represented in the logos of Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's the same wolf head, but for represent the different Pokemon. So does that also kind of represent this through Eternatus? Or also could it just be something random, like just a standalone Pokemon, the pseudo-legendary, another legendary, a mythical, Impidim's evolution? There's not really much that can be determined, but its design looks pretty crazy. Can't really figure out everything from a statue like that. But there's some fancy stuff going on. Or maybe there's only like 2 sub-legendary Pokemon. You know, like the legendary trios and stuff. Instead of getting 4 like we did with the 7th generation, we're only getting 2 in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And maybe there's like a lot of duality represented that way. Or it kind of represents as an entire whole Pokemon. Who even knows? But then, that brings us to some of the other new Pokemon, or at least the other new Pokemon from the trailer, the fish. Now, I got a lot of comments in my last video of people saying, why is no one talking about the fish? Well, that's because the fish makes itself very apparent, and effectively goes without saying because of it. The funny thing I saw was people were actually commenting like, well, if you slow down the video, if you pause it at the right time, you can actually see what the fish looks like in the trailer. Actually, we need to even skip ahead quite a bit for when it gets hit. I mean, look at that. It even like sticks through the back of its neck. I love this is like some kind of cartoony feeling bird. But yeah, the idea is like you get to pause it and then you can see what's going on, but you actually don't have to because it's just straight up on the website. I love its face. This thing has the silliest face. Its indifference to getting half-eaten and then used as a weapon. I'm down with that. So is this just going to be like a random standalone fish Pokemon? What's the evolution going to look like? How does that even come into play for anything? I don't know. And why would they just, like, of course this thing exists as like a 3rd Pokemon. So some people, and you can even see that in the comment section, but the fish is a new Pokemon too. Right? So people are kind of like losing their minds. Like, they're showing so many Pokemon that just exist already. Like, there's several Pokemon that are confirmed in Pokemon Sword and Shield that aren't getting any acknowledgement. And the question is Game Freak just going to do this until the game comes out? Is this their way of dealing with the criticism of Pokemon Sword and Shield? Because, or not Pokemon Sword and Shield, the criticism of Pokemon Sun and Moon. That even though I completely disagree, and I feel like Pokemon Sun and Moon revealed the correct amount of information to keep everyone hype, but also show us what the Alola region is going to be like in Generation 7, a lot of people disliked so many Pokemon being revealed before launch, and even with like all of the Pokemon that have been partially revealed, or at least like confirmed as an entity, as something in the Pokemon world, but not getting a full reveal, it's still less than Pokemon Sun and Moon, but is leaving a lot of mystery, so these are things to discover, or at least read in a strategy guide or find on the Pokemon website when the game fully comes out. But that's kind of the weird thing. I don't think the people that want to get hype should be prevented from getting a lot of reveals just because some other people complain about it. That when Pokemon Sun and Moon officially launched, the website updated and had all of the new Pokemon anyway, and for some reason people also get the data mine confused with Pokemon. They're saying like, oh, Pokemon revealed all of the Pokemon before the games came out. No, that's false. The data mine happened. That's a separate leak. That has nothing to do with the Pokemon company. And there were still a few Pokemon that weren't revealed fully. Trumbeak, Toucanon. I don't think we got one of the Dupiter or Araquanid. I don't remember which one that wasn't revealed. Some of the Alolan Pokemon, Delmise. So yeah, there was a decent amount of Pokemon that we didn't get to see, and the roster was more plagued by Ultra Beasts and Legendary Pokemon, and that made it feel like a smaller roster, but overall, it was still, I think, a very healthy reveal cycle. I mean, there's even a whole page on Bulbapedia about disputed and unofficial Pokemon, so kind of some weird stuff going on. And then there's like a codependence kind of thing that doesn't make sense. Like there's Remoraid attached to Mantine, but having a Mantine isn't also like simultaneously having a Remoraid. However, Remoraid is required for leveling up Mantike, but if you just breed Mantines without the Wave Instance, you get a Mantine anyways, and baby Pokemon are weird, so I call some shenanigans, and the idea is, how is this guy going to come into play? Like, is this a codependent Pokemon that it only exists in a weird way with Cramorants? Or is it a completely new Pokemon, this is an Easter egg, but it's not going to be officially revealed because we still don't have anything on Impidimp, that it's real, it exists, you can play it in the demos, it was at the E3 demo, it's at the PAX demo, it's at the Gamescom demo, it's at the every demo because they're just touring around showing you guys Pokemon Sword and Shield. You get to do the whole Nessa thing, and for some reason there's a Dark Fairy type Pokemon inside of it. But still hasn't been officially revealed. Like, at this point, you're just expected to splash onto the Pokemon website one day. That Nessa didn't get a trailer reveal. She was just there as a part of the E3 coverage. She wasn't in any of the E3 gameplay that was shown during E3. They were just, like, tweeting out, like, oh yeah, by the way, this is a gym leader. Go check her out on the website. Didn't get that with Impidimp. So maybe they're saving him for the evolution reveal, but at the same time, the list just keeps adding up of new Pokemon that exist that you can't ignore, which also brings another question. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about the amount of Pokemon that have been shown but haven't been acknowledged or we don't have details about? Is this better than what happened with Pokemon Sun and Moon? Like, let's just say, hypothetically, Pokemon Sword and Shield shows the same amount of Pokemon as Sun and Moon, but doesn't reveal all of them. Would that be better, worse, or the same? You know, is it worse because you don't have the details, but they're already spoiled anyways? Is it better because not having the details doesn't spoil them? Or is it the same because we see it and it's going to be playable at some point? So I think that this is like a really interesting thought about how these Pokemon reveal and are interacted and stuff. And then we also just have this kid with the chipmunk squirrel looking Pokemon. It also goes back to the leaks, and the last time I did a video about this, I talked about the leaks as well, because we still have so many things that like have to be real, that have to exist, and we can see so many Pokemon. It's just weird like that. So we're waiting on this, and earlier on in the trailer, we even see the likely way of encountering this Pokemon, because it's holding berries. The leak says it protects berries, and this is how you encountered a Pokemon back in 7th generation with Crabrawler. So they're bringing it back, and it's going to give us another Pokemon. That's kind of cool. I would like to see this kind of play out, because it looks like this trailer just ends it right before that encounter actually happens. Why haven't they just fully showed it in a trailer? It'll take like 30 seconds. But at least we finally got one of the mysterious Pokemon revealed with Poltergeist. Everyone thought that this was the teacup elephant from the... What is going on? I thought that that was the reveal, but it actually wasn't. This goes back to July, and this happens so strangely and suddenly, like, boom. Just going into that, new Pokemon, and then new Pokemon. That's illegal. Stop doing it, Game Freak. But now this thing comes into even more question, because is it actually a tea kettle? Like, the trunk kind of has that little spout feel to it, but why would they make two Pokemon that are the same? Or is this the evolution of this, in which case it's not an elephant, it's more of a decorative piece, but we can see with Poltergeist that there's chips, it's cracked, it's possessing an old piece of chinaware. This seems a lot more clean and pristine. So what's going on. It seems porcelain-like. It seems ceramic just from like the stillness in its reveal, but that seems like it would kind of overlap too much into the already confirmed Pokemon. Or maybe its animation hasn't like fully activated because it's all like scrunched down because it's coming out of the Pokeball and there's a weird cut for like the video edit. We don't fully get to see what happened. Maybe like the trunk does unfurl and it's not as stiff as though it's some kind of crafted component. And then it is actually closer to Donphan or something like that. Or are we getting like similar Pokemon? That's weird. We have this. My life grows more and more confused and angry every day that we don't get the reveal for Yamper's evolution, because this thing was in the first trailer, and then it was in the July trailer, and then we just see it in the logos everywhere. Apparently it's a clothing brand. Okay, and then you can also buy a backpack that has it. Okay, and the thing's just kind of everywhere. So it makes me also feel like this was intentional. They're like, you found it. You found that dog Pokemon. Can you find this one? Oh, you found it. Can you find this one? Can you find all the other ones? So there's like a secret Pokemon in every trailer in some kind of way. I'm not even gonna scrub through to look for that stupid shirt. You know what I'm talking about. And that's not the end of it, because we gotta bring up this bad boy again. The Corviknight pre-evolution? Plural? So do we have like the first, do we have the basic form, then we have the first stage, and then Corviknight already was revealed? That's weird to reveal the final evolution first. I thought it was going to be standalone, closer to Skarmory, or just another big baller bird kind of Pokemon. Does it only have one pre-evolution? Is it two? Is this our complete regional bird? Seems like that. It has a taxi system, so it seems to be a pretty core part of the region, like you would expect from a regional bird. But I think the pre-evolution is going to look pretty dope, and I'm down with that if this evolutionary line gets more fleshed out. But it seems like they really want to reveal one of the coolest Pokemon ever made with Corviknight, and that means having to do it in reverse order, or maybe we're just never going to see it. It exists. A lot of these Pokemon exist. They're common. They're popular enough. They're a staple of Generation 8, so much so that we don't even need to know about them. It's like one of those jokes that you're not in on, that's just a freebie. So, yeah, anyone that lives in Galar region, of course they know what all these Pokemon mean. Of course they've already seen it, and it's no big deal. It's no surprise. It doesn't need any kind of reveal. It's just there, and that's the whole thing about it. Also, another thing I want to note is that if you look on Leon's jacket, there is a Pelipper. I saw a lot of people saying, like, yo, is that the leak from the, like, Pokemon that swoops up and spits fish at Pokemon? Doesn't seem that way. It just looked like a Pelipper, and it doesn't look really close enough to Cramorant. So, that's a thing. Also, the leak said something about it, like, chucking up a Pikachu every once in a while. I thought it was going to be based on if it's in the water or if it's in the land. I think we saw both from the trailer, that it could just be using Surf on ground, finds it. It uses Dive in a puddle, finds a fish. So, randomly getting the Pikachu. Imagine just getting that Pikachu, like, chucked at them. And that'd be funny if it's an RNG element for the ability, and it deals, like, more damage. Like, maybe it's not just fish. Maybe it's not just Pikachu. Maybe there's a few other things this thing, like, just spits out at the opponent and be kind of like Pelipper's present, varying in damage, or maybe even healing them, or maybe the entirety of this Pokemon is this fish thing that exists, doesn't exist, like half of the other things that have been in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So how many new Pokemon is that? Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Are those each a separate Pokemon? Kind of seems like it. I look at the little floof on the top of its head. Seems to be more developing and getting closer to the look of Corviknight. So 5 like that. And then we also have 6, 7, 8. Is that all of them? And that doesn't even count the ones from the leaks. So that pushes it over 10. I'm not going to count the Galarian Klinklang. It didn't look like a Galarian Klinklang when it was first revealed, and if we go back to this, it just looks like, or did I say Klinklang? I don't care about this thing enough to get its name right. Klinklang. So, you look at this, that's just a Klinklang, and it doesn't show like the spike gear design that's going on. It just looks like a graphic, and that looks like there wouldn't be any Galarian representation. So, it's just a regular Pokemon. And then how many Pokemon do we have revealed in total? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16, 21. So 8 of 29 Pokemon. More than 1/4 of the Pokemon have been shown, but not officially revealed with details. Whack. So guys, enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.